Good morning, guys. How is everybody? Back walking again. Just about to set off for the Lake District with Osric, and we're going on a walking holiday. And again, if anyone's never been to the Lake District in the UK, go. It's absolutely beautiful. Probably as close to the mountainous region of New Zealand as you can get. Weather awful, so it's going to be raining all week. So look, I'm going from this glorious sunshine to literally 7 days of rain. But the view will be worth it. And I don't run on hilly terrain, so this will be interesting to see how I fare on this hilly terrain rather than flat. Anyway, my point is that I had to step away from the whole AD situation for a day, whatever, because I believe, in my opinion, that things have taken a rather sinister turn for the worst, and I don't believe that we are just experiencing one territory anymore. I think that it's gone into a different arena with Alan Vinnicum and his cohorts. He's turned nasty. And obviously something has happened. The annihilation, the threat of annihilation of himself, his channel, his finances, whatever that may be, has got to him. And so he's turned nasty and is starting to now feel justified in doing all the things that he's probably wanted to do for a long time, i.e. fight back in the way that is truly representative of him, which is his real persona. The persona that he keeps changing. Have you noticed that he keeps changing his persona the entire time? From victim to nice guy to fighter to informative. Literally changing his clothing daily as well, which he says is because so then he can trace which videos, who's trolled what. Anyway, my point is that things have almost gone into the cult arena. Now, cult leaders are really interesting people. People have tried to figure them out over the years, and they can be from yogis to politicians to YouTubers to anyone who recruits people to all for the aim of one belief, their belief. And there are different signs that you can recognize, which is so fascinating. These people tend to recruit more vulnerable people because they're promising something. They're saying, only I can fix this. Only I have the answers. And they're constantly talking about themselves. When you watch them, the I, the I, the I, the I, me, the I have this, I have that. If you do this, I can give you that. So it's a sales pitch. And if one is at home or one is has a hole in one's life, which we all have, the missing piece, and you look to it in the external, you look to it in another person digitally, and somebody says, I have this answer, believe me. And this is another key that these so-called gurus, leaders, sociopaths, cult people, it's a useless word, do is that they constantly say that I can help you, that there's something that you need that I can give you, and refer to themselves all the time, and therefore create a divide that they are up here and you are down here, and that you need them to serve a purpose. And so therefore one kind of latches onto that because you think, oh, this is someone who's actually fighting for truth, fighting for a victim, or fighting for a better cause. Yeah, I'm going to join this, I'm going to see what happens. And then once you're in and you start watching the videos or you start listening to this person, then different techniques start to happen. You can see that the person changes. They've created them on a pedestal and you down here. And you have very little input to them, really. It becomes more a diatribe of theirs. So it's a sort of one-way conversation that one never gets to be part of. So again, the people who have joined, their personalities don't matter. They get very little input with this person they've put in a pedestal. They just get to hear him or her. They just get to hear and listen and hopefully take it in. And therefore, another technique used is that it's totalism. You are there or you're not. You are with them or you're an enemy. And this is another great technique. It turns you against people, apart from this person who is trying to instill what their truth is in you. So you are sort of taken away from people who disagree with you. You're isolated from people that disagree with you. Another critique or another point of view is not allowed in this arena, because that's seen as being an enemy, one which needs to be fought against. And this is another thing they do, creating an army to fight against an imaginary force which they've created. So instead of people disagreeing or having another point of view or being of another point of view, being a separate person, someone who may be along the same lines, who is still fighting for the same thing or looking for justice along the same thing, they're seen as an enemy that need to be annihilated as well, because the threat of annihilation is too big for this person, this cult leader or this person recruiting people. So they are then told to go and only listen to them, to fight against everyone else. So it's sort of packaged as such that there is a big group of you that are all fighting for the greater good and must fight against others, must get rid of others. But yet, if questioned, this leader or this recruiter gets very threatened. And so there either will be no reply, no interaction, or very, very short and sharp, that you're either with us, Aussie, here. Sorry, the dog. Or you're against us, which is generally in life not adult behavior. It's not logical. It's not compassionate. It's not an adult reaction to real life. It's there for a purpose, a reason, whether that be financial, whether it be power, whether it be for a greater good. And there have been many people that have recruited people and been big groups of people, thousands that have done good. But mostly people recruiting in that way are doing it for their own reasons alone. If you look at it, other people around this person get very little out of it. They get very little out of it apart from a tiny bit of validation every so often. So if you'll notice the person, the recruiter, the leader, the person with the info, the person who is the only one who can make this change, drops little snippets of validation in every so often. But mostly when talking to their followers, they're pretty disparaging, because they need the follower to keep with them, because only they can save the follower, only they can save the situation, only they have the knowledge, only they have the information. So they've got to keep people slightly under par so that the people need them. It's kind of like selling cosmetics, right? So the cosmetic companies keep women's confidence slightly down. So they need this cream to bring it up. They need this eyeshadow. They need this to look younger, better. And the person recruiting does exactly the same thing. Keeps you slightly under par so that you need them. And it's just a fascinating way to be, because the threat of annihilation is constantly there. So walls have to be created. They have to create an army or a big group, because just normal people and just going along and saying what they think the truth is isn't enough, because they need more power. They need to be able to show somehow that they've got all these people around them so they're safe. And that's what they do. They get others as well to do their dirty work. So very little does the cult leader or recruiter actively do, because they've also recruited a team around them, sort of worker bees, to do all of their stuff for them. So they don't have to take any responsibility at all. There's no culpability in people that recruit people for power, for fame, or for money. There's no culpability, and there never will be, because these people are incapable of seeing their faults in that way. That's why they recruit so many people to hide. They will never ever, and most of them have never ever accepted culpability for any of the damage that they've done. So all of these techniques are used, and it's really interesting because if you look at certain people, not mentioning any names in my opinion, you can see these techniques, and it's absolutely textbook laid out for you. Their interaction with people, how they are in the world, what they're trying to do. And you can see that this person changes their guise in reaction to the response that they're getting. So they're a chameleon as well, and they do that on purpose so that they're never really caught. And so constantly you're off guard saying, well, no, hold on. They are a nice person, or they are doing the greater good. And then they'll switch it again. And it's a constant back and forth, because this person doesn't really have any identity unless they're behaving in this way to a big group of people. Now, the damage comes when the brainwashing filters down into the big group. Because that's when people are at their most vulnerable. And considering these are mostly vulnerable people to start with, more vulnerable people with a less sense of moral integrity, perhaps, or have less confidence in their own convictions, or are looking for something in another person digitally or out there, or they want to follow somebody. And so therefore, their brain has absorbed all this information from this one person, and their brain has changed, because now the belief is in there, now the faith is in there, and it's very, very difficult to change back. And so everything else from their point of view is seen as the opposition, the enemy. So, do you know someone like this? And it can be many people. I mean, many people use these techniques generally in their daily life as well, and it's very clear to see. There is an element of narcissism, though I think that word is really bandied around in this community a bit too much. But of course there's an element of a narcissistic supply. Absolutely. But it comes in many, many different guises. But one thing that these people all have in common is how they speak as well. It's almost like a rally. When the threat of annihilation happens, they will come fighting back and change their technique completely from this informative, nice person into an absolute rally. And that only they are important here. Only they, and that, are you too stupid to see? Are you too stupid to open your mind? Are you too stupid to see what's happening here, everybody? Come on, open your eyes, open your mind, wake up. This is what's happening, because they have to change that technique and start doing that so that the person feels even worse and goes, oh God, yes, they are speaking the truth. And if you are a follower of one of these people, just notice yourself, notice how you feel when they talk to you, as opposed to how you felt when you first discovered them, or when they first spoke to you. Has something changed? Has a dynamic changed? Do you get anything out of the relationship? Are you getting anything from this person? Do they acknowledge you ever? Do they validate you ever? What do they want from you? Very interesting. And I'm obviously interested in psychology and sociology and how people are in the world. And I can see this happening right now. And in my opinion, it's heading this way. I start to see a little bit of Jim Jones. I start to see a little bit of the Kool-Aid. And it worries me. because it's gone into that territory. And then once this person has realized they've gone into that territory and realized other people can see, then they'll pull back and go into another guise. And there's no end and no beginning. It just goes in a spiralic action. Now, you can believe what I'm saying or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm just putting it out there that this is what I'm seeing. Let me know your thoughts. And I hope everyone is great. And please, please pray for me for a week in the rain, in the Lake District, walking up mountains. Have a great day, everybody. And stay safe. Bye-bye.